Good morning. Welcome. I thought I would do a pick a deck. What is he or she thinking about you? Spring reading. And you can just think about your person and see what makes sense to you. First of all, just zoom in on the decks and you can just pick your deck, whatever's resonating with you. There you go. So the first deck is the Fountain deck. The second is the Illuminati. And the third deck is the Rider Waite-Centennial version. So take a deep breath. Think about which deck you want to think about as we go through this reading. And I will begin. Okay, so let's see. I will begin with the Fountain deck for those of you who want to relate your thoughts of your person to the Fountain deck. Okay, I've shuffled it many times. Think about your person, and I will just cut the deck. Okay, perfect. So let's see what's coming up. The Devil, out of the gate. The Fool in reverse. The Ten of Coins. The Two of Cups in reverse. And the Knight of Coins. The Devil is clarified by the Lovers in reverse. The Fool by the Page of Swords. Ten of Coins in reverse is by the Star in reverse. Two of Cups by the Six of Wands in reverse. And the Knight of Coins is clarified and rooted with the Eight of Coins in reverse. One more row. The Devil and the Lovers in reverse is rooted with the Nine of Swords in reverse. Okay, the Fool and the Page of Swords has the Eight of Cups. The Ten of Coins and the Star in reverse has the Wheel of Fortune. I'm just going to make these all visible to me and you. The Two of Cups in reverse and the Six of Wands in reverse has the Seven of Cups. And the Knight of Coins, Eight of Coins in reverse has the Nine of Cups in upright. Okay, so for this particular reading, let's see what your person is thinking as it progresses, through time a bit. So there's definitely been a deep tie karmic connection with you and this person. And, I think that basically we'll see how it evolves. But in the past, there's been an energy that's been hard to unhook from. Your person has felt the energy pretty heavily, and they know that there's a deep connection. They may have even put some investment in this as a potential serious relationship. I think they've been a little confused by it and a little scared by it, truthfully. Whatever happened in the relationship in the past, it definitely caused them a lot of analysis and a lot of angst. However, they've started to let go of that feeling. They've started to have some realization that they don't want to be stuck in that mental turmoil about the relationship. So I think that you had enough impact on this person, or this relationship did, that you caused a real mental challenge for this person, at least. And I don't know if they're really an emotional person. Truthfully, I'm not sure, but let's kind of read further. So in the evolution of how they feel about you, so recent past, I would say there's fear associated with the Fool in reverse of taking a chance to start something new. And the reason for that is I think that they are either acting immaturely, or for some of your people, they might feel a lack of clarity with the Page of Swords. It's not in the reverse, it's in the upright. They may actually have had a message come through. I take that back. It may not be as much a lack of clarity that is making them concerned or afraid, but they may have actually found something out about you, seen something on the social media, heard a message, or actually received clarity or received a message about you that makes them want to not invest in this relationship recently. They've had a sense of maybe not wanting to invest recently. They have maybe tried to move away from this tight karmic pull, this tight in and out energy that they know has as much negative to it as it does positive. They might be attaching a little bit more to their memory of some of the negative than really trying to take a risk on the positive. And they do have the Eight of Cups energy as an explanation for them not taking a risk. They might be concerned that being engaged with you has, is not leading them to their goals, is not, maybe taking them off the track, maybe taking them off the track of their financial or business goals. They just can't be distracted with that right now. Maybe it's their family goals, but with the Ten of Coins in the reverse, there's been an element of this connection with you that they feel, that maybe was disruptive for their prosperity, either actually financially or in their family life. They may have been in a block from feeling that they could see success with you, that they could feel their own healing come through this, that if anything, it actually maybe got them more stuck than moved them forward. And yet, that said, your person is taking their hands off of controlling it, and just for many of them is chalking this up to, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. It's kind of like they don't want to fight they're not fighting the downstream motion on this. They're kind of going with the flow, and if that's what's presenting to them, that this is a challenge, or that this isn't easy enough, or that the circumstances haven't aligned enough for them in this situation, they're willing to take their hands off the wheel and let things take their natural course. And they view this as, this is probably for the best. They've probably talked themselves into, whether they fully believe it or not, that this is for the best. I do feel that they have some regret over this not working out, because this definitely was a very important relationship to them. They know that there has been a meeting of the minds with you. They know that they aligned with you, that you were two kindred spirits at one point. This Two of Cups, though, in the reverse, is definitely maybe whatever. If it's insightful or short-sighted, I can't say. I do think that they're more materially minded than overly emotionally minded, and they do have a bit of a negative stance on the relationship, or a souring of the experience, that even if it was positive at one point, whatever the circumstances were that evolved in this situation fairly recently, or not even that recently, they've created that perception that aligns with their belief, an original belief that this was difficult and it caused them some angst. So they're continuing on with that belief, because I think most people want to not contradict their beliefs. So they'll actually build perceptions around original beliefs so that the brain is right. And I think whether or not it's rooted in actual evidence, they've created perception or evidence in their own mind that they can't succeed with you. That maybe what they thought you had was a bit more unrealistic, or not part of a reality that you both could make work. Six of Wands in the reverse, Seven of Cups. So your person really felt like, even if they were very tied, and I do think they think about you, and I don't know in what vein. I think they've thought about you so much that for some of your folks, they feel like it's time to be more productive. Where can I make an impact and not get so in the mire with thoughts about this relationship? So they are thinking about their future a bit. I do think that they're not as deeply sensitive. I think they're more focused on being happy in their future and where they can build. Knight of Coins, and explanation is Eight of Coins in the reverse. They might be having an insight about old habits that have not been working when it comes to them, or just when it comes to you and them. How to shift that up so they can be more productive and get what they really want. Nine of Cups. So I think that the person is very driven right now to move toward positive things, and they may have just been evolving here to shy away from what has appeared to be intense at one point. Yeah, definitely, a good connection, or a connection at one point. But what's easier for them? What's more productive for them? What's going to yield more results that are not as trying or trial ridden for them? And I think that's where they're headed. I think they're a bit more pragmatic than anything right now, and then maybe self-serving. I mean, there's a part of them that wants to be, I don't want to say egotistical, but maybe they're feeling it's more healthy for them to be selfish with things right now, and where can I focus on my what brings me wealth, abundance, prosperity, fulfillment. Nine of Cups. So I mean, I do think that could be where their head is at right now. No denying this was an intense connection, and I think that's probably why this has been a movement away from the angst with you, because it's definitely been something they've been caught in the mire over. So how do they feel about you? They might feel it's time to bring about more abundant things for themselves, maybe because they just were stuck, and they were caught in a negative spin around this for some reason. Anything else that could clarify? Two cards to clarify. Two cards to add any other messages and clarify. I do think there's a defensive energy. I do think that they're trying to hold their ground. Like, I don't want to go backward, because I want to create. What do I want to create? Something abundant and prosperous. I think this is aligning very much with the message we just talked about, that they're looking to move forward, not backward, and they understand this was intense and had a real effect on them. They're looking for healing, abundance, and what their version of that is. For them, that means, trying to take their lessons and move forward. They might have a little more fight in them. The question will be if their fight is to create something at all with you, or to just move forward in their life and manifest that way. I think the reading was saying a little bit of a moving on to manifest. But just to be clear, what is that last fight about that they have in them? They have a fight in them. That's pretty clear for me. I'm sorry, but the message is that it's not to present another offer to you of love. They want to manifest, but not with another offer of love. They want to manifest in other ways. Very well, again, could be career, other directions that just make them feel more in their comfort zone. So that's the message we have out of this first deck. Okay? So for those of you that resonated with, and let's get to deck number 2, which was the Illuminati deck. And that was already shuffled as well. I'm getting some weird shadows in here, so hopefully you don't mind, but we're just going to roll with it. So if you chose the Illuminati deck, let's see, one cut for what is your person feeling about you right now, building up to it. The Alchemist or the Magician, reversed Princess of Swords, the Fool, reversed Eight of Wands, and the Three of Swords. The Magician is clarified by the Five of Pentacles, Princess of Swords by the reverse Queen of Wands, the Fool by the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Wands in reverse by the King of Pentacles, Three of Swords in reverse by the High Priestess in reverse, the Magician and the Five of Pentacles by the Seven of Wands, Princess of Swords and the Queen of Wands in reverse by the Three of Cups in reverse, the Fool and the Eight of Cups, Ace of Swords in reverse, Eight of Wands and the King of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and the Three of Swords and the High Priestess in reverse, Princess of Wands, or like the Page of Wands. Okay, so what does your person feel about you? Let's see. Sorry, I need to make sure I have no sound coming through here. Okay, so I would say your person definitely is in an active mode when it comes to their life. And what they have felt recently about you is there's definitely been an infinite connection, a deep connection. And whatever occurred with the two of you has kind of catalyzed them to want to create and move forward. But I almost think, in a way, it's out of conflict, that there has been a conflict with the two of you where your person wants to create, wants to manifest, wants to move forward in their life. Because with you, truthfully, there's been a recent feeling of being left out or blocked. So there's a possibility that for many of you watching this, if you pick this deck, that you had a recent kind of blocking of energy with this person. That maybe they did it to you first, I can't say. But what I'm seeing here is, in terms of how they've been feeling about you, is they've been feeling shut out. So if you've been feeling shut out, then certainly they're mirroring that feeling. And yeah, it's very clear. And that's been, the Five of Pentacles is clarified by the Seven of Wands. So you've been kind of deflecting them in some way, or maybe they did that to you first. I'm not saying, that it's only one-sided, but there's a powerful energy in them to begin again and to create and to spark something and to initiate something in their life, excuse me, where they don't feel blocked, or it could be to come back with you and create that, because they have felt blocked. They have felt out of, out of communication with you, or just deflected. The energy of theirs to you has been, deflected, for some reason. So I'm just going to read the cards and not worry about you seeing all of them. So, yeah, definitely there's been a blocked energy for them recently with you. They're blocking communication to you. Page of Swords in the reverse. Is explained by Queen of Wands in the reverse, and Three of Cups in the reverse. So it's possible that they tried to communicate with you and it was blocked, or maybe they've found it easier to avoid that. But lack of truth or communication coming through from them. Again, I think responding to the fact that they think you're not coming through, or you're feeling resentful or negative with them. And when they're receiving your energy or your vibration of negativity or block or not willingness to give with them, I think it's to them, they're retaliating with, if you're going to do that, I feel that I can't. The reason that's happening is because, again, there's been a lack of coming together, a lack of reconciliation, a lack of celebration, a lack of joy and lightness. I do think that they are probably this person is led by what is serving their fire, serving their joy and passion. And if you were blocking, they're blocking communication with you because you weren't being that person that maybe you've been in the past. Maybe in the past you've been that inspiring, uplifting, positive person, and you shut the goodies off at some point and didn't agree to come together, or maybe turned down an offer, or just hadn't been giving to them. So they're basically responding in kind, like, I'm not going to reveal all of myself to you. I'm not going to communicate because I think you've cut off the supply. And yet they are thinking of a new start. I mean, the question is, to me, their new start is because their new start is in I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling like their new start is not probably in your direction. That it's in a different direction, because it's explained by the Eight of Cups and the Ace of Swords. I think that they haven't really taken their own, they haven't tested themselves by trying to clarify what's not clear. They haven't tried to clarify what's not clear with you, and they've taken it at face value, and maybe they've made they've drawn some conclusions that are not real about why you're reacting the way you're reacting, and maybe they just didn't want to dig deep. They wanted to stay light and on the superficial level and decide that they should seek elsewhere or walk away because they have lack of clarity or lack of victory with you, and they're not willing to take that risk with you. And I think that I'm clarifying that in that way. The Fool is really not to take a new risk with you. It's to walk away with the Eight of Cups because they don't have a viewpoint of victory with you. The World card. They may feel that they've gained all they can gain from this experience, that it came to the right ending, it's coming to the right conclusion, that it's a lesson learned kind of thing. For a small percentage of you, the Eight of Cups could be that they're going off to kind of think through and evolve and figure out what they need to do here. If that's the case, this is going to be majorly stalled, because the other cards coming forward in this reading have a lot of hurt or stalling or blocked energy associated with it. So if in fact this Eight of Cups for some people, and again, I think it's few, has to do with going off to eventually come back to you, I think your vibe here is that it's going to be met with a bunch of stalled energy, and I'll tell you why. I think for the majority of your persons out there, they're feeling they need to make a new start, but probably that this chapter is ending. They feel that the communication has been blocked, or they're not offering communication to you. They're not texting anymore, or they're ghosting in some respects. They're focused on their career, or they're focused on holding their ground. There could be a stubborn energy with them. Again, that's, thinking that you're pausing or they're pressing the pause button. So the reason they're not coming through with communication right now is because they're holding their ground as the King of Pentacles. They're trying to build something up. And the reason for that is the Hanged Man. Now, that some of them might have had a bit of an awareness around something, but I'm getting more that they would just rather almost not deal with it. Put it on pause. And the reason for that is, to me, the most recent energy on this is the Three of Swords in reverse. So they have been definitely hurt. They cared enough to be definitely hurt by this. They're not immune to it. They're not, robotic about it, but they're releasing it. So they feel they need to kind of not go into this again with you. They don't want to be in this emotional upheaval. They're holding their cards extremely close to their chest. High Priestess in the reverse. They want to release the hurt and not dig into the the feelings, not dig into the intuitive side of this, not share. They want to kind of lock in, hold their cards extremely close to their chest. And the reason for that is they're trying to figure out the right answer for their direction. Page of Wands, the right answer for where they do want to communicate. For some of them, they're pretty conflicted. Part of them is leaning toward holding this very close to their chest, not get hurt again. But maybe deep down, some of them really do want to communicate, like a message. Or they could be feeling this way because some of you actually recently communicated a message that makes them feel this way. overall, I would see this person is definitely um, proud, trying not to be vulnerable, feeling like maybe they don't want to go backward and feel the pain. They are kind of wanting to heal from it. They felt left out in the cold. They felt that you put a kibosh on them, and they don't see victory with it. So they're kind of like cutting their losses in a way, and or at least putting it on pause to heal and release some of this, lick their wounds, and not coming forward to you right now. It's not to say they don't have feelings. I just think they might be a little concerned about the extent of those feelings and stirring that all up again. 2 cards. Yeah. 4 of Swords. They're contemplating the issue because they're concerned there won't be a positive reconciliation here. They're not racing into anything, and that's back to my original statement. If for anybody, if for some of you there's this unique scenario where the person's going off, to think about it, 8 of Cups, because they might come back to you. There's still a tinge of questioning if they see success with you, and they have to really analyze this. There's that pause factor. When I said this could elongate and have a lot of blocks to it, you know, with the Hanged Man and the 4 of Swords, and them with the High Priestess in reverse, even if a smidgen of element here for some of you is that they might think about coming back, this is going to be a long road, and I don't know if they will. And then for the others, I think they're moving in another direction. So it doesn't mean they didn't feel something for you, or may not even still feel it for you. I think, you know, obviously when you see the 3 of Swords in reverse, at some point very recently they've been hurt, and you can't be hurt unless you've had deep feelings. So the answer to the question is yes, deep feelings. However, I think they might be protecting themselves right now and keeping their ego to the forefront and trying to be lighter and move forward and not go backward. There's a tinge of similarity to the first deck in that regard, but the feeling is there. So let's look at the third deck, the Rider Waite-Centennial deck, and see what this one holds for you and what your person is feeling about you right now. This was shuffled a lot, so focus your energy on this one. Okay. Judgment, Emperor in reverse, Knight of Cups in reverse, Tower in reverse, and King of Pentacles in reverse. The Fool in reverse. 6 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands in reverse, 8 of Wands, 9 of Cups, 7 of Wands, 4 of Wands in reverse, 6 of Cups, the World, and King of Cups. Okay. So, your person, for those of you who chose this deck, Okay. Yeah, it's just really interesting because these 3 to me have similarities. These 3 have similarities in the reading. So, your person is evolving. They have recently thought about this a lot. They've been impacted by this relationship with you to the point of maybe a bit of an evolution. Maybe they've been on their own path of evolution, and the experience with you in an interesting way has taught them lessons and created some insights and awareness for them. Judgment. And, you know, are they wanting to reconcile with Judgment? I guess I really wouldn't say that, because the Fool in reverse as a qualifier and then the 7 of Wands to me would say they've spurred an insight around this situation recently through whatever's happened with you, and they're not willing to take a risk. The insight is that this is a challenge for them. This relationship is definitely a challenge for them. So, some challenges are positive and some are not. But for this person, they're coming out a bit defensive and protective, and they feel for you, and it's definitely something that's made them think. And the relationship has been a catalyzer for them in learning. So you should feel good you've had that kind of an impact on this person, whether it's for good or bad for you. They've definitely like sparked an evolution because of this relationship. Um, but I do think that's stalling out for them because they're feeling burdened. The core of the reading is the Ten of Wands in the reverse. So either this relationship or some other things in their life has been a burden for them. They have been made to feel, made to want to be, and they want to be self-imbued and selfish right now. They are thinking about what's serving them. They're very strong on what they want, being kind of more commando in this scenario. They want to set their own boundaries. They want to almost manipulate the situation in a way that puts them on top, has them give where they want to give and not where they don't want to give. And it's because they're afraid of how it's going to disrupt their life. I think they're actually afraid of caring. They're afraid of caring because if they care, then they can't build the traditional stability that they kind of ground themselves in. They might have a family unit they're concerned about. For some of you, you might be a distractor from some other commitments that they have, whether it's work or family. And that is unnerving for them. So they hold tighter to their position. They hold tighter to their power, and not always in a positive way when it comes to you. Where they are right in the current, I would say, is, again, withholding. With the Knight of Cups in reverse, they're feeling burdened, and they are not feeling that they want to be very emotional with you around this. I actually think it's because you can be an Achilles heel for this person, because you can rock their stability, and they do reminisce. They do know at the core that they've had some good times with you, and they do think of the past times. But so much so that if they think of it, for some of you, I think it calls up memories that shocks their system, and they're feeling very bit selfish and protective of that because they don't feel they can take that on. I just don't think that person feels that they can take that on, and they know what that would entail and where they'd have to go with that, and they'd have to be vulnerable, and they'd have to release themselves to you, and they'd have to go back in time and connect on that more innocent, joyful level with you, and that was there. But for whatever it is they're experiencing in their life, they have to be more realistic. They have to drop some of the burden that they're experiencing because they can't function dealing with all this. This isn't the way they like to function. My sense is for some of these people that they're more functional in the business world, they're more functional in their work realm, they're more functional in their practical world. And if you call up that sensitivity in them, it gets them a bit more defensive at this point. It gets them more, basically, it gets them more sensitive and vulnerable. So they deflect it. They're deflecting it. Knight of Cups in the reverse. They're not making the offer. They're afraid of reminiscing over this. They're not afraid of, but they want to relinquish the burden that would place on them because it just goes too deep for them. Or it's not where they need to put their energy. They're avoiding that kind of confrontation with you. They might feel that they did something or you did something that would call up a bit of a conflict or something they have to address. They're avoiding the complete meltdown of this. It's like they don't want to participate in it, but they don't want to get messy in it either. They're kind of thinking, this could be the end of this phase. I don't want to end it on a bad note. I don't want to engage in a bad conversation. I don't want to get overly emotional about it again because it takes me off my stability factor. They're very defensive of that. They've been there with it's kind of been there, done that, and I don't want to go backward. And in some ways, they want to complete the chapter, learn the lesson, and move on. But not without recognizing that this was really a sensitive point for them. That I think you are, and definitely were, like I said, a bit of an Achilles heel for them. They're maintaining their ground. They're trying to stay smug and on top of things, keep on top of their work life. I mean, you've got to look at his expression, looking down, not even up. And this smug character is explaining that. You know, your person wants to fulfill their goals and their, you know, path on the prosperity train here. And maybe they feel that you weren't giving or unconditionally giving, or maybe you were asking too much of them or wanted too much things they couldn't give. You know, King of Cups in the reverse. But what, or they just can't. They just can't or won't right now because they're trying to stay in control and fulfill their wishes and dreams. They've definitely felt burdened by something, and I don't know if it was something to do with their family or work or this relationship, but it's caused them to want to drop some of that burden, and they've been able to do that a little bit because we go from 10 of Wands in the reverse to 9 of Wands in the upright. But it's because they find the best way to do that is to have some completion. Are they doing it in a forthright way, having a conversation, trying to have good closure with you? You know, I don't know. I almost feel like no. I think they're probably willing to skate past it, then have this heartfelt conversation that closes the loop nicely with you. I think they feel like maybe they're just coming to their own conclusions and insights around this, and what they need to do. Emperor in the reverse again. And they're not really feeling like they need to include you in that conversation at this point. For those of you who picked this, you've definitely got an energy here who is, this is a lot of repeats, who is not making the offer, not coming forward, being more selfish, trying to manipulate the situation. Emperor in reverse. We already have. Knight of Cups in reverse. We have again. And the Hanged Man. Because they're just going to be, you know what, it's easier for me not to say anything, not to come forward with anything, and just hold my stubborn stance here. I think they get to a little bit of a healthier point with the King of Pentacles because they're trying to move forward with a direction, but the underlying energy is a bit of manipulation here. They're going to manipulate the scenario with you, unfortunately, to come out ahead and to withhold. And I think that your person thinks about you, but that's a weakness for them. So they would sooner clamp it down, put a pause button on, and withhold without rocking the boat. So that's what I'm getting for this reading. Thanks for tapping in for the pick a pile and what is your person feeling about you. Please comment if any one of your choices resonated with you, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.